From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big noontime here on LALATE with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. Breaking news minutes ago as the vote is starting. They're starting. The date for the reconciliation vote has been announced. I have the breaking news on noontime. We'll be going also over the fourth stimulus check, how much you're going to get from those Democrats, and the breaking news across the board. Then this stimulus heats up as Jerome Powell testifies on the Capitol Hill. I'll have the breaking news about this stimulus that raises your benefits up a lifetime and gives you another stimulus check this fall for next year. Wow, incredible news. Then we'll turn to the thousands of dollars the viewers continue to get. Some are getting $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Your turn to get it today as well. It's a noontime. It's a big day. California's opening up. We're opening up. We're about to get into a big broadcast. Let's get underway, starting right now, this moment on Noontime LALATE. Hey, good noontime, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you're having a beautiful Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday noontime, depending on what time zone you are in. You know, the weather is beautiful at the moment here in Southern California. It's sunny, but there's a beautiful onshore breeze at the moment, keeping it cool. It was supposed to be very hot today, but it's not so far. Thank goodness. How's the weather where you are, and where are you tuning in from? Drop in the live chat or in the comments right now where you're watching from and how's the weather. Well, there's a lot of breaking news about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. We now know when the vote's going to start, and I have the breaking news on this broadcast. We'll be going over the monthly stimulus check the Democrats want you to have. I have all the details in this recording. Then we'll be turning to fifth stimulus with Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, testifying on Capitol Hill right away. I'll be going over that breaking news that will change your benefits lifetime and give you another stimulus check next year. OMG. And then we turn to the big money that viewers continue to get. Today's your opportunity to get it as well. This is LALATE, your only 7 days a week, 24-hour a day financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons, the only channel of its kind in this country. I'm live in the morning and next taped in the afternoon with afternoons at LALATE at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So join me on that big show at 3 o'clock, followed by Evenings LA. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. Hit that like button and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fourth stimulus with those monthly payouts comparing the House bill and the Senate proposal. Both provide monthly stimulus checks. Both provide consecutive stimulus checks, but the payouts are different. Let's compare and contrast. The House bill provides a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. Senate proposal provides a stimulus check from July to December. Let's compare the monthly payouts. House, $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000. Senate, monthly amount unknown, but word on the street is this. OMG. That's per person, that's per month from the Senate Democrats. Wow. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000 a person. $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400 per person. Now, there's a macroeconomic factor that could impact the fourth stimulus from the House Democrats. That is pandemic plus 1 year. Many legislators, insiders may contend the pandemic is over. That would reduce potentially the House bill to 12 months of checks, which over the House bill would amount to $13,000 over 12 months. Compared to this, from the senators over 6 months, I think you have an opinion. Vote right now in the live chat, House or Senate, which one you like. If you're watching this just after about 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast, vote House or Senate, which one you like. And tell me where you're tuning in from and how is the weather. All right, let's go over everything else you need to know about this fourth stimulus check. Who gets it? Same people who got the third stimulus check. The Democrats want the people who got the third stimulus check to get the fourth stimulus check. So if you're a single individual who makes less than $75,000, the Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, the Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check, double it. Household 4 or less, the Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, the Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, veterans benefits, you get it. The fourth stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check would come monthly for the Democrats. It's not a check that comes in waves. So don't wave at the check. The check won't wave back at you, and you will think that the check is so rude. Hey, check, how are you? He didn't wave back at me. What a rude check. The fourth stimulus check is the same amount for adult dependents and minor dependents for the Democrats. And the Democrats represent that the final vote will be by July 4th. That means that your fourth stimulus check from the Democrats would land in the month of July for the month of July, in the month of August for the month of August. And there you go. That is the first of three parts of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. In the second part, we go over the breaking news about when the vote is being called. It's very exciting. Very exciting. That's coming up in just a second. But here's a preview of the second half of this video. The second half of this video is fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus check, yes, next year. Raising up of your benefits under fifth stimulus, yes. I'll be going over what the breaking news is out of Capitol Hill today and Jerome Powell. And number three, more money to the administration to ensure your stimulus gets in your hand quicker and faster. Oh, yes. A lot of breaking news about fifth stimulus coming up in the second half of this video. But now let's get some money. If you're new to this channel, that's what I do. I do not track checks. I'm not just a news reporter tracking a check for you. In fact, I never track a check for you. This is not the Stimulus Psychic Network. And I am not Mr. Cleo or Mr. Leo or Mr. LALATE. Well, I am Mr. LALATE, but I'm not Mr. Cleo. I'm not the Psychic Check Network. So we're not psychically predicting where the stimulus check is landing, or what do you think, or how do you think? We're cashing checks. We're cashing checks. And there's thousands of dollars landing right this week for you, and we're going to go over all those details right now. So get a pen and paper ready, or Crayola crayon, so long as it matches my Crayola blue. And let's get that money. Money available is now available for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, homeowners utilities, and it's landing at your city, counties, and states this week. There are different locations that will have the money. If one says no, don't worry, reach out to the next. The rent, wonderful. About $5,000 of rent for you. About 4 to 6 months of rent. Tim and Linda got it. It's your turn to get it today as well. Got that pen and paper ready, or Crayola crown, so long as it's blue. Let's get to it. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus check or Mitch's Lobster Bake. Call them up. Hi, Mitch's Lobster Bake. Oh, sir, that's down the street. They don't know those words. Don't use words they don't know. And there you go. $5,000 for rent approximately. We are killing it. If you got in any money for this channel, whether it's $100 or $100,000, trust me, I've gotten viewers $100,000 as well from this channel. Jump into the live chat and say what you got, whether it's $1 or a penny or more, because it inspires other viewers to get that money as well. And we got inspired recently when one viewer got $6,000 from this money. Another viewer yesterday said she got about $5,000 from this money. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, for her son, and her mom, and Gail got it. What is it? It's SNAP. It is money for food from Department of Agriculture. How do you get it? Reach out to Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? A lot. About $16,000 for a family of 4 in Hawaii now. Wow, why so much? Because of 2 executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% nationally, automatically, between now and December. So go get it. And we're killing it. You're killing it. $16,000 for SNAP approximately for a family of 4 in Hawaii. $5,000 for rent approximately. And we are only 9 minutes of this video. I got more money for you. Yes. You ready? Okay, here we go. One viewer got $5,000 for this. What is it? It's money coming back from your states. The federal government has identified states as overpaying you unemployment assistance because of computer error. Computer error. No fault of your own. Your computer works fine. It's their darn computer. So the federal government has ordered the states to return that money back to you and maybe update from Windows 98. So there you go. The K-Pro doesn't work. Trying to get a modern computer from this century, Mr. Unemployment Department. So there you go. You're getting back that check from the state. How much? One viewer got $5,000. When? Reach out to your respective state for routing times. How do you get it? Automatically from the account you have on file with the state. Which brings us to the final pot of money, and it's wonderful. Ka got it, Michael got it, Margaret got it, viewers every day got it. If you got it, drop in the comments right now. It helps inspire other viewers. You know what it is. It's money back from the IRS that you pay taxes on for that 2020 return. Let's go over how much, when, how to track it, and all the details. First, how much? Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment assistance. You paid total $5,000 tax bill, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment assistance. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. How? On the in the mailbox in a paper check, unless you had direct deposit on that tax return. When? This month. Can you track it? Yes, about 70% of the time you can track it. Go to irs.gov, put your username and password in there, and about 70% of the time, if you do a transcript search, it will work. It will show the tax return you filed for 2020, the taxes you paid for 2020, and that refund check you're getting for 2020. Wow. That's great news. And can we top it? We can. As we go to the second of three parts of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 in today's video, as Biden does it. And he does it again. What? Yes, major breaking news. Only you're hearing for the very first time on Noontime LA right now. In fact, you're not going to hear it on Afternoons LA because it was taped right before this announcement minutes ago. The president has put his foot down, or tiptoed in, as it would be Crayola, or put his boot down, or whatever shoe he uses. He put his foot down and said, stop it. We're calling the vote next week. What? Yes. He said, Lily, stop it. We're calling the vote next week. That's what he basically said. He said, fake narrative, that thing that LA keeps on covering. Thank you, LA, for covering that fake narrative. I'm tired of it too. We're calling the vote next week on the recon. Stop playing these games. Republicans are dragging their feet. We're calling the vote for recon next week. We're not spending one more day on this. Oh my goodness. I love it. So aggressive, so assertive. I love it. Viewers have been asking me, what day is vote one of the 9-step voting process, which I'm going to cover later in this video. And I've been saying, they can do it together. They can do it in stages. They can do one part. We have the date next week. He says we are starting on vote number one. We're not holding up one day. I'm tired of this faux negotiation, fake narrative thing. His staffer was not happy with it. I told you the fake narratives were going to piss someone off. I was not happy seeing about these fake narratives from the protagonist in her telenovela. Well, the White House with the president now in Geneva, he's not here, so he has a staffer here in the D.C. said, we're not doing this anymore. We're calling the vote next week. We're calling the vote on Monday. We're starting the voting on Monday. Oh my goodness, Biden did it. Now, Biden did something else right before that. Biden did something on Saturday when he passed a wonderful treaty that anchors fourth stimulus right to the finish line. He passed a wonderful treaty that now removes provisions no longer needed for fourth stimulus. I'll be going over those details in a second. But how do we get to there? We started there the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, when Leader Schumer announced 3 items, which I had been reporting for several weeks. Number 1, the reconciliation process was already underway. Number 2, the final vote, not the first vote, but the final vote would be by July 4th. And number 3, it will be passed by July 4th. Well, how did we get to that point? We got to that point from Jalopal. The author of that House bill had written Schumer a letter saying, call the vote on the recon. What are we waiting for? I wish she had sent a copy to the president. Maybe we had got to that first vote going. Of course, Schumer said, yeah, we're calling the total vote. But now the president said, no, we're starting the voting on Monday. We're not going to wait any longer. Well, Jalopal's letter was co-signed by 12 House Democrats. And who are those House Democrats? They're among the 100+ who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, when fourth stimulus goes to a vote, we're going to put monthly stimulus checks in there. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. Can we top that? We can. When about a week ago, 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter directly and said, Mr. President, when we write the fourth stimulus checks, we're going to write monthly. When we write the fourth stimulus package for you, we're going to write monthly stimulus checks in there. Oh my goodness, well, who are these people to say that? These are the people that are on the subcommittee that's solely responsible for writing stimulus checks in the U.S. Congress, House of Representatives. Oh my goodness. Did they write our first stimulus check? They did. Did they write our second stimulus check? They did. Did they write our third? They did. And now they're writing our fourth? They claim they are. Well, are they writing our 5th stimulus check? They claim they are as well this fall. That's coming up later in this video. Oh my goodness, this is getting good. Can it get better? It got better. When the President of the United States on Saturday made a major deal signed a major deal on international treaty which anchors forced stimulus right to the finish line because of you raising the global minimum corporate tax rate to 15% and, in essence, eliminating provisions no longer needed for forced stimulus, making it easier for his Democrats to pass the legislation. Wow. Now, let me explain how we got there. I've been talking about this for several weeks, referring to a recent Tuesday, and saying it was confusing, complicated, I need to slow it down. Well, I'm going to slow it down once again right now. Fourth stimulus is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. What's the U.S. corporate tax rate? It's the taxes that corporations in the United States pay. Okay, pretty easy. So what did the president say at the time? He was worried that if he raised the corporate tax rate for U.S. corporations, those corporations may leave the United States and move their operations to another country, like France, to find a lower corporate tax rate. So what did he do? He reached out to 7 other countries, the G7 countries, and got them to agree to a higher global minimum corporate tax rate so that a business would not leave the United States and move overseas. Good. What did he then do? Later that Tuesday, he reached out to his staffers and said, well, I like how this is going. After forced stimulus is passed in October, November, December, I'll get those G7 countries in person to sign on the dotted line. And once they do, I'll remove those provisions no longer needed from forced stimulus. Wow. Now that was wonderful news, but it got better. A recent Friday ago, 2 Fridays ago, I said, something's happening with this president. Stay with me in the next 24 hours. I'm going to see what it is. And it hit. And this weekend, last weekend, it was signed. The president surprised everyone. And instead of waiting to November, December, or later this year, he this weekend signed into law an international treaty which raises the global minimum corporate tax rate, now making it easier, anchoring forced stimulus right to the edge of the finish line because no longer provisions are needed in the forced stimulus. They're now covered by the international agreement. Wow. So he didn't wait to December. He did it now, yes, to get anchoring a forced stimulus to the finish line and making it easier to pass it with his Democratic caucus. Wow. Now, that is wonderful news. Can we top that? Well, we can, as you heard just earlier in this broadcast. And the president confirmed that he's tired of the fake narrative of faux negotiations, that the reconciliation first vote will start next week, early next week, and that we're not waiting up 1 second for anything, and we will be done by July 4th. He is putting his foot down, and he is adamant about it. Wow. Now that is breaking news at noon time. In the second half of this video, I have the third part of the forced stimulus package, updated 2021. Yes, it's getting even better than that. Stay with me. And also the fifth stimulus, where your benefits will be raised up, and there'll be another stimulus check for next year. But first, here's something even more wonderful. The volunteers. If you're new to this channel is about getting people money. And the volunteers embody that purple power spirit. They're viewers just like you who have stepped forward to help you get money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, homeowners assistance, SNAP. If you've tried to get it and you've had problems, they're viewers just like you, viewers helping viewers. I got viewers $25 million for EIDL early in 2020 to save their businesses and their homes and their employees' homes. But in fall 2020, second stimulus wasn't passing. So I got viewers $250,000 for rent and utilities right during the holidays. Now the volunteers are continuing that spirit. And so if you're having problems getting that money, don't worry. The volunteers are there to help you. How do you reach out to them? On the community page of LALATE. How do you find it? Open the description to this video. You'll see an emoji of a house. Next to that emoji is the words community page, news.la.com/community. Click the link and it'll send you to the web page with a picture of some kitty cats on it. They're not the volunteers, they're just kitty cats. Lower on the page of the volunteers, they're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them and they'll help you get that money. I'll be back in 60 seconds with incredible details still about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus still hitting and more, and my personal impressions of what's going on. Stay with me. I'll be back in 60 seconds with this incredible news. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on noontime LA with incredible details direct from Santa Monica, California. The wind is coming in. It is beautiful. I hope the weather is good where you are. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather on noontime here this Tuesday. In the second half of this video, we'll be going over more about that fourth stimulus check, that vote we now know about, and the exciting details about fifth stimulus. I'm really excited for you, so hit that subscribe button right now. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. Also, like this video. Every like helps. 3,000 likes. Don't forget to like the video. It helps in the algorithm ranking. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fifth stimulus with no less than 4 breaking news stories. Oh, boy, there's a lot of breaking news stories. Let's go over each one at a time, and hopefully I remember all of them. Number 1, fifth stimulus check. Oh, yes, there is. The Democrats, so 7 Democrats, have made it very clear to the president when they write the fifth stimulus, they're going to put a fifth stimulus check in there. Well, when would you get that fifth stimulus? My understanding of how they're thinking is 2022, January. Fifth stimulus goes to a vote around October, November. It's hard to send out a stimulus check in December because of the holidays. So I think they're thinking fourth stimulus would be this year, fifth stimulus would be next year. Great news with that. Number 2, great news of the president. He's dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration for payroll processes, computer systems to ensure your stimulus checks, to ensure your benefits checks, any checks you get, go out on time and faster than they've done before. I love this news. I was totally blue in the face, not blue in the shirt, but blue in the face of the spring with all those Direct Express by Comerica does not have my third stimulus check yet videos. Oh my goodness, won't have to make those anymore. It will no longer be an issue about whether Direct Express by Comerica has your stimulus check or doesn't, or whether Chime paid it early or doesn't pay it. Everyone gets checks on time. No more of this stuff. Wonderful news. Which brings us to the third breaking news. And it's actually multiple elements of this. Number 1, it's all the inflation rate. We're trying to see where that inflation rate is for fifth stimulus because that's your benchmark going forward. The inflation rate in recent days, as you've seen on this channel, I have often referred to as 2 to 7%. And then I said some, fringe reporters are talking about things in the 10%. Changed this morning as broadcast analysts across the board were all basically saying we're at about 4% inflation right now. And we're looking at a transitory or a temporary peak of about 10%. This is huge. For the first time ever, we see a broad consensus of analysts now saying we're clearly at about 4% right now, and we're going to see a very big peak at about 10%, and then we're going to come back down. They're talking about that peak in later this year. Why are they changing to be very unilateral, be very consensus about that higher rate now? Because this morning, the producer price index number was released. It's the sister, the consumer price index number released last Thursday. Both numbers are about cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold are going up. It's easy analysis. Cost of goods numbers are going up. But they think that the numbers are going up so quickly, so dramatically, that the inflation rate will reach that peak around November, December. This is huge for fifth stimulus and your benefits if you're on SSI and SSDI. I'll explain in 1 second. Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, is on Capitol Hill this week. But here's what you need to know. He categorically would never, ever say any inflation rate then higher than 2%. He can't. He cannot. The reason he cannot is because it would cause Wall Street to crash, even though everyone wants him to say it. So what I want you to understand is if you do see any footage from him, he's going to try to protect his own position and not say a higher number because he can't. They're going to try to tip him off, the legislators, to try to get him to say something higher. he's going to try to hold his guns and not try to move and say it's 2%. But most analysts are saying transitory, temporary spike of 10%. Now let's apply that analysis when we understand fifth stimulus and how this works. So fifth stimulus would raise your benefits up a lifetime and then apply that inflationary benchmark. They'll also remove the asset cap. They'll remove the marriage penalty, and they'll remove the income exclusion. Let me calculate this for you so you understand basically how this works. First, they're going to raise your benefits up one time under fifth stimulus. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, multiple beneficiaries. Then they'll apply the benchmark every December or November for next year. This year is going to be the important year because the benchmark now would be inflation. And because of what you heard just a minute before, they think that inflation rate will reach its highest point in maybe 30, 40, 50 years in November, December, and then go back to normal. This is why this is wonderful news for you, because your benefits raise up based upon that benchmark and never step down. So let's say the benchmark, when applied, the inflation rate temporarily for 60 days is 10%. Your benefits would raise up 10%, not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the inflation rate the year after that is 0, you still stay at plus 10%. 10% lifetime. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap that prevents you from holding more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to hold some stimulus checks in your hand. They're going to remove the income cap that prevents you from working. Now you'll be able to work and stay on benefits if you want. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear loss of benefits or fear being penalized if you are married. Viewers like Sandy and Rob will be able to get married and no longer worry about the marriage penalty. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. But it's important to consider becoming a member. If you're looking at the live chat right now and you're seeing people who have a purple hawk next to their name, they are members. As a member, they're sent daily from me via the YouTube community page, a breakdown of everything that's in third stimulus, fourth stimulus, and fifth stimulus. Why is it important to know that? Because under third stimulus, there's $5, $10, $15, $20,000 for a lot of money for viewers that you need to know that's available for you. A lot of it's application-based, and if you don't know it, you don't get it. Under fourth stimulus, there's a lot of provisions of money in there that I don't have time to cover in a given video. And fifth stimulus, there's a lot of money in there as well. With 3 stimulus packages really happening at the same time, it can be confusing. But I make it simple for you by delivering to you daily a breakdown of everything in third, fourth, and fifth stimulus if you're a member. Which brings us back to fourth stimulus, with now no less than 1, 2, 3, 4 more things that I want to cover for you in this third part of the fourth stimulus check update of 2021. First, I want to go over the routing times. Second, I want to go over the fake narratives. Third, I want to go over my personal impressions. And finally, I want to go over purple power. Well, let me start with my personal impression. My personal impression is it's important for you to understand that this is not the stimulus psychic network. And at no time should you ever subscribe or think that anything in your livelihood is a stimulus psychic network. Because we're not here predicting or analyzing. What do you think? Or what do you think? Or how do you predict it? Or where do you think? Why? These are legislators. Let me give you an example. A House subcommittee could have multiple stimulus checks in there of 55 multiple stimulus checks and send it over to the Senate, and the Senate could take it down to 2. Or it could be the reverse. This House could have 2 stimulus checks and send it over to the Senate, and they could make it 30 stimulus checks. The way legislators work is they make changes. Until the bill is a bill, it's not a bill. And until it's a law, it's not a law. That's why I have emojis on this channel. It's not bill yet. It's not law yet. So you can't sit around and be a psychic predicting stimulus, because until the process is finished, changes can be made, which is important for us to then understand the 9-vote step process. There's 9 voting steps to get from point A to point Z. The first half are procedural, second half are substantive. And what's also important to know is that steps 5, 7 and 8 are the most important ones. All right, here we go. Step 1, the House subcommittee calls the procedural bill vote. Step 2, the House floor votes on the procedural bill. 3, Senate votes on the procedural bill. 4, President signs the procedural bill. At that point, the tow truck is passed over the finish line. Time to go back and get the tow hitch, the substantive bill. Step 5, the House subcommittee marks up the bill, as we heard earlier in this video, as they are currently, and calls a vote in the House subcommittee on the substantive bill. It's at that point the House subcommittee can put those monthly stimulus checks in there or not. Step 6, the House floor votes on the substantive bill. Step 7 and 8 is the 2-day Senate vote-a-rama. At that point, the senators amend, if they wish, anything they got from the House. 3 possibilities can happen. 1, if there's no House stimulus check provision, the senators can add it by amendment. Number 2, there is a House provision for stimulus checks, and the senators like it, they can leave it alone. Or step 3, or possibility 3, there are stimulus checks in there from the House, and the senators don't like the provisions of it, they can amend it. And step 9, the president signs into law. Which brings us to fake narrative. Now, when I recorded Afternoons LA, which is coming up right after this video, I recorded minutes before this breaking news, so I did not have this latest development on the fake narrative. What's the fake narrative? Fake narrative was debuted on this channel last Friday when a protagonista and her telenovela ended very quickly. Let me go over what happened. A certain particular Democrat who did not have the support of the Democratic caucus went to meet with a series of a few Republicans who are quitting. Quitting? Yes, they're exiting elected office. They're not up for re-election because they would not get re-elected because they're not popular in their current location. And so why did she meet with them? Political advantage, political advancement, book deal, personal prerogative. Not anything to actually get something done. But by the middle of the day on Friday, her staff issued a press release, said she had an agreement. She had no agreement. And for the first time, both parties came out in unison about something, that she had no agreement from anyone. Well, I told you starting on Friday, all the way up through today, and even for Afternoons LA today, that I want you to be prepared for the fake narratives, using the problem creators as an example. Also on Friday, the problem creators were back. How many times did the problem creators deliver something in 2020 that actually became bill or law? 0. How many times did they appear on broadcast news? Dozens, hundreds of times. Why are elected officials doing this? They usually do it for a series of reasons. 1, to generate campaign donations for the re-election bid because they're on the front of broadcast media. They show what they're doing even though nothing comes of it. Number 2, generating campaign donations to run for a higher office. Or number 3, a book deal, or something to advance themselves politically, even though then nothing's going to come up from it. So I had said every single day this weekend, ignore the fake narrative because this is not much of anything. The Democrats have all said they're passing for stimulus. Joe Manchin has made very clear they're passing for stimulus. So I said ignore that. Well, guess what happened minutes ago? The president, who's not in the United States, he's currently in Geneva about to meet with Vladimir Putin, he had one of his staffers just really fire back in words I haven't seen in a while, saying, you can chat with whoever you want to chat, protagonista, but not referring to her by name, of course. But understand this, we are not holding up anything more. We are calling the vote on Monday, this coming Monday. I was really pleased because it basically shot down these people that are trying to politically grandstand to your deficit, to your detriment, because ultimately nothing from them is going to get passed. Nothing from them is going to get approved. And they're trying potentially to delay the process or confuse the process or muddy it. One of the people that this protagonista had chosen to meet with is Ron Portman. Ron Portman is a elected official who in 2020 wanted to give you absolutely nothing. He's along the lines of a Ron Johnson, never wanted to give you any type of stimulus whatsoever. He did not want you to have 1 penny for FPUC ever. So he does not like you getting anything of any sort. So why have a meeting with a guy like that that is universally not on the same mindset as the Democratic caucus? And by the way, he's also quitting. He's out. He's not up for re-election because he can't get reelected. So what's important to understand is that the president has really put his foot down in a wonderful way. So viewers have been asking me, when would the 9 steps start? The president's now made clear, next week. He does not want to hear any more from any of these people or these fake narratives come this Friday. Now, he has said that before, but this time the language is much more stern and warning. Wow. Now that's wonderful news. Which brings us finally to Purple Power. It's important to understand that you need to push, and you've been doing a better job. Why is Purple Power more important in 2021 than 2020? Because elected officials need to hear from you that you're still suffering. America's starting to reopen. California reopened today. The mask mandate was lifted in California. Businesses are reopened at 100% capacity today. So how are the citizens doing? Are they struggling? Are they not struggling? Do they need a stimulus check? Do they not need a stimulus check? Elected officials don't know unless they hear from you. That's why it's important to push. Hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. Go on social media and tag your Democratic senators, your Democratic House members. Explain to them why it's important to have that multiple stimulus check, why it makes a difference, why you're still struggling. Also, if you don't use social media, use the old-fashioned item, the telephone, the thing with that cord in the kitchen, and you pick up the phone. Hello, operator. Yeah, well, that's the 1960s, but you know what I mean. Pick up the telephone and call the elected officials' offices in Washington. Be very professional and express to the staffer why you think you need a stimulus check, why you're hurting. It's very fascinating that today on Capitol Hill, Jerome Powell is making very clear that you need relief. Why? Because until the lower class and the middle class are fully out of it, they need relief. It's important to understand that people have debts piled up. People do not have jobs back to normal. And as Jim Cramer said this morning on Broadcast News, the only people complaining about the inflation rate are rich people worrying that their assets are going to go down value for a few months. He says we need to get everyone back to normal and not just some people. And that is Jerome Powell's focus. And that's your focus as well. And so with that, make sure you subscribe. Go on Purple Power, go on social media and start pushing. I want you to push, and make very clear why it's important to get these MSC Purple Power stimulus checks out. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. I'm next back with you at Afternoons LA at 3 p.m. and Evenings LA, which is going to be a big broadcast. So make sure you subscribe. Also like this video and stay informed, stay focused. Keep on pushing. Never stop pushing. Stay here, stay positive, have a beautiful afternoon, and stay with LA for more.